I'm going to go... I reckon Black Dragons have got this one 10-6.
10-6.
And you made me do it before the map comes in, so you've really ruined me here. But Mexico and sub-base the bands, let's see where we end up. Port for the first time today.
Interesting map to come out. I think this one is going to favor Black Dragons for sure. However, we did see Boss do really well on Blacklist halves where they get to play lane control. They did it really, really well against a team like All Gamers. Now, Black Dragons, I think they've got this one. If they've done their homework, it could be a very big win for them as well, because the thing that Boss did so well on their Blacklist side was shut down counter aggression. So Black Dragons here, they need to realize that that's not going to work very well against this lineup. And I think if they've really just done their homework here, Black Dragons should be in a great position to take this one away.
And like we talked about earlier, and I'll recap it just in case anyone did miss this point, these are the games you see on stream are the only games being played at any one time. We don't have a secondary stage, none of other games going on. The teams who aren't playing, the 4 teams who are not on stage right now, have nothing to do but sit there and watch these games and prepare for when they play one of these 2 teams, or both of these 2 teams if they haven't yet. So certainly all of the teams who are not playing should be and will be watching the teams that they're yet to play, doing their research, watching what works for them and what doesn't, figuring out the tendencies. So certainly Black Dragons should be aware, for instance, that aggression or the just aggression on that defensive side is not going to be the greatest of options for them. But we'll see, of course, how they do choose to attack it. Nonetheless, as we do move deeper into this group stage, we can only expect teams to be more and more prepared to play each other.
I definitely like the way that Black Dragons, unlike most teams, they get in that huddle before the start. They really group together as a team, get their mentality on the same page, get focused and ready to go. I definitely like the energy they bring to the table.
And every round they win, they're screaming.
Yeah, and I think that could be an intimidating factor for Boss to go up against. They seem very calm, reserved team, and they almost seemed a little bit nervous in those times where we saw All Gamers sort of just get in their face with their expressions and just seem really hyped. But it looks like we're ready to hop right into it here. So it is going to be Port as the map here between these 2 teams. Black Dragons going to be the favorite here to win it, but it's not any question that either one of these teams could still pull it off. Anything can happen in a best of 1, especially if you get that early momentum on your side. But both of these teams, they look ready to go here. So we're going to hop into the action and see if your prediction can come true.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I said it before the map came up, so if I'm horribly wrong, it's definitely because the map veto threw me off and not for any other reason. So that's my that's my out. Thank you very much. We will be jumping into Port here. The first time we've... Actually, no, it's not the first time we've seen it today, is it? No, it's not.
Be the second time
we've seen it today, but that's all right. Boss versus Black Dragons. Black Dragons starting off on that defensive side, and we're certainly thinking that they will be the favored team here, but we'll see which way this one does unravel.
And Black Dragons, I already like how they're playing this. They definitely studied how the counter aggression did not work for All Gamers. As you can see, they're playing very passive, very reserved here, which is going to put even more pressure onto Boss to potentially slip up here and make an early mistake. So definitely a great decision to start this one off playing fairly safe here. And as you can see, already a little bit of fire going down towards this A-lung position. They look on A-top, they see Vienna, they don't want to contest it, and now they're going to play a little bit safer, but interesting choice that we see no snipers on the field for either team to start off this map.
The last time we saw this map, it had either 3 or 4 sniper rifles pretty much all the time. They had Revenge and then Carbon were running either 2 or 3. There was 1 round, I think, on the defensive side where they had a single AWM, but other than that, it was pretty much always 2 or 3, and now to see none, just the full rifle setup, in fact, the full AK setup coming out for both of these teams to see which way they do choose to go with it. In the meantime, so it's going to be Boss shifting around, not having found too much just yet to go for. So they've been looking for a Black Dragons player to get aggressive, to make the mistake, to give them a pick and to not find it, despite a bit of damage onto Will off the start. 50 seconds left now. Boss going to have to make a move pretty soon.
Now they have all of their players grouped up in mid as well, and this could be sort of an awkward funnel for Boss to try and work an execution off of. They are slowly working their way with a couple players into the top of A connector there. It looks like they may just go for a quick A split. We'll see if it pays off, though. Here come the flashbangs out. They're going to try and force their way in, but so far it's not working out. There they go. They get the frags to answer back, though, but Vienna is still shutting things down. Picks up a triple kill, and he's still alive here. Hasn't lost a tick of health. Danimal goes down in the process, but still Vienna holds on with a big triple kill. Finds the quad kill, and it's ADRF to seal the deal, but Vienna, what a beautiful hold there. Takes down 4 of the 5, and it looks like they may have a technical issue, but still a very solid first round, to say the least, from Black Dragons.
Looks like a headset issue, so hopefully this won't take too long to resolve. But talking about their game earlier, it was ADRF who really stepped up for them in game number 1. He got, what was it, a 3K and an ace in sequential rounds, which is pretty insane. The only ace we've actually seen so far today. Seen a couple 4s, but only 1 ace so far yet, and as we now enter our 5th game. But it's a massive round there from Vienna as well, grabbing 4, completely locking down that defense. I'm not sure if he's pointing his monitor at the other team here, but either way, good start for Black Dragons. It's certainly a round that Vienna gifted to them. It wasn't a round that they won as a team, but doesn't matter. Individual effort still counts. We've seen a lot of them today, and I've no doubt we'll see more as we get further into these games.
Yeah, and definitely something I'm interested to see now that they know Black Dragons is going to be playing very reserved and very passive. It can be a bit concerning for these guys because they got a lot of the picks they did in their first match against All Gamers just by waiting for the enemy on their defensive half to push them. But now we actually get to see if Boss can actually get in there and dig for those picks themselves. And honestly, I don't see a lot of confidence in how they play so far, and I'm concerned that they're not going to be able to make that happen because Black Dragons, their team, once they know how to play against you, they're just going to further and further that, and we may see a situation kind of how we saw Carbon earlier. They just get in a situation where the other team's just slowly reading them and seeing that they're nervous, and they just get more and more map control each round, pushing slowly forward and holding those close quarters angles against them.
The other thing is as well is that as we get further and further into this group stage, we can only expect the teams to know more and more about each other. For instance, the teams who played in our first round, so we'll go off the Pacific Max game for instance, they played against Carbon. That was the first time they played them here today. They didn't get to watch a game of theirs before they played them. Now that we're in the second round, all of these teams have a chance to have watched one of their opponent's games. So when we come to the final round, when you're playing your 5th games, it's up against a team that you potentially watched 4 games of and that they've watched 4 of yours. So I think we're only going to see teams be more and more prepared for each other as we go further and further on in the tournament. And these superficial reads, for example, at the moment, Boss saying, well, or not Boss, sorry, blanking, help me. Black Dragon saying, well, we can't push them. I feel like that'll become much more nuanced into, we can push them in these situations, or here's a weakness. The more these teams the more these teams see of each other playing. If that comes down to maybe these teams playing each other in the semis, if we make it that far, then maybe that's where that comes into effect.
Right now, Black Dragons, they're in a great position to, once they get this issue fixed, they'll be back in 1-0 in the lead. And just like that, we're going to be right back in it. Boss down just by a round so far. Definitely looking a little bit nervous, but still ample time to recover this one and take a win of their own. Again, though, we see them playing very reserved. They don't even go for any map control. They're just going to be posted up with 2A long, 1 safe mid, and 1, or actually 2 over here just playing safe B. And this really goes to show that they are almost over-reliant on those over-aggressive plays on the GR side to see if they'll actually push out. But we do see Notson already getting a little bit more aggressive. He's a little forward here in the B tunnels, not afraid to take that early position. But they're going to notice very early on that they have 2 player in forward positions. They also have a player boosted up into A connector now as well, and still, Boss is nowhere near to contest, and that's something Black Dragons are definitely going to note here.
Indeed. Previous rounds, it was Boss catching him out. And then immediately, as soon as they got that pick moving very, very quickly. We also saw that Boss were very, very rotate heavy on their attacking side on Black Widow earlier. Rotating sometimes as many as 3 times around based on the picks that they got and trying to get behind the defenders. Sometimes it worked, or a lot of times it worked. A couple times they got flanked and caught out while rotating, but we'll see if that is going to be a tendency here. For now, Boss haven't got a pick to rotate off, so just going to be feeling out the map, trying to catch out anyone from Black Dragons who might be giving up just a little bit too much. And so far, they're not going to find anything. They are getting up into mid now, over towards B as well, but we'll see what they do decide to commit to as we burn through 1.5 minutes of this round already.
And again, we see Boss getting into a situation because of the map control they give up. They're forced to funnel their way into mid to avoid any early fight. But last time we saw this, Vienna came out with 4 kills, just funneling them right into his crosshairs. So Right now, it's definitely going to be a tough situation, but ADRF, he's going to be caught in that A connector spot. He goes down to Lucas, and that's the opening they needed to try and strike here onto Vienna, who is going to be sniping this round as well, so he's going to be in a disadvantage if they go for the aggressive play on him, but Will already finds 2 on the rotation. Perfect retake potentially on the table now. Everybody lit on both sides except for Notzin, the only player sitting on 100 HP remaining in this one, but there's only 10 seconds to get the bomb down, and they finally just plan it in time. But all 3 Black Dragons players, they're going to rotate in. Lucas, he shuts it down completely, and we do have Ally there coming in for the final kill, but still, great response there from Boss on the post plant.
Still a very, very near thing, though. Well, they do manage to win that round back. Black Dragons looked in control of it right up until when they weren't, which sounds like a silly thing to say, but still felt like they were in a good situation for that retake until they got sprayed down by Lucas, who is, as we mentioned, standout player for this team. Currently sitting at 3-0. A bad start for him and for his team. Black Dragons are going to be putting the pressure straight back on. They've actually changed their setup here, going for a very mid-heavy setup. They know that Boss has been funneled up mid late the last few rounds. So they've got 3 players waiting here and 1 anchoring each bomb site.
And again, we see such reservations coming out from Boss. They're just afraid to go up and push, and they're going to be punished for it. Vienna, he took that forward mid position because he knew no one was going to be there to contest him. But we do see Rita there getting the trade kill, takes down Will in that fight in mid. So good exchange either way at the start. But Black Dragons, they actually lose a little bit more HP onto Vienna as well out of that fight. So all said and done, Boss actually getting slightly more out of that fight.
We've seen already today how quickly these games can turn around, these rounds can turn around. All it takes is one quick headshot from a member of the team who are in the disadvantage, and all of a sudden we're straight back into things. So, Vienna's certainly a player who can deliver in these situations. We saw him get 4 in that first round, despite the fact that the reset now still has 1. Get 4. Bit of spam up through mid, looking to take that position, and Ritter's going to find one to Vienna as well, so it's a great start for his team. Under a minute left, though. Boss going to need to get a move on here, 4v3.
And now Ritter definitely having a stronger game already so far, finding his team these opening picks. It's going to be a 4-on-3 for the execution. Danimal trying to hold things off with Notzin. We'll see if they can take them down here. Notzin, though, only able to find 1 kill. Finds himself a big triple kill to close it out. And Boss, they're going to swing back with an early lead.
2 rounds to 1. This is certainly where Boss needs to have a strong start. From what we saw earlier, their defensive side was pretty lackluster. Unfortunately for them, up against all gamers, netting them just 2 wins up against 7 losses. So the better start they can have on this blacklist side, the better they will be going later into this game, I think. But we'll see. For now, Black Dragons still doing decent amounts of damage in the rounds that they are losing. A few players did get overrun, but still hitting some shots. So still showing us they want to be in this game, certainly. But Boss, once again, have slowed down. Going for something a little bit different here. Shady, I think, has a flashbang ready to push into that A alleyway, get up towards that side of things. But nope, it's going to fall back instead. And once again, the mid challenges here. On the side of Black Dragons, they've gone back to pretty similar to their other setup of playing passive, 1 safe back mid, 2 on B, 1 floating around mid and A. See how it does go for them. But Boss this time are once again taken mid. Lots of utility being used to do it. And it looks like it will be a split towards B.
Now we do see them finally going for a little bit of control, but even then they're still always so hesitant on these control plays, very nervous on their executions, but still they do remain in the lead here. We'll see how this one pans out, but right now Will, he's going to be just slowly strafing in and out from this position on the back the GR spawn wall, just waiting for one of these players to potentially push out under that mid bridge onto his position. We are going to see a potential grouping for an A execution now. They've wrapped up 2 players into a connector here, and Lucas, he's going to be leading the charge to see if he can entry frag for his team once again. It looks like he has a pop flash ready there as well to throw up onto Vienna. It's going to hit him nicely there. Great positioning there with that flashbang. Vienna, though, he's going to drop off and hold the corner. He knows there's a player in that position now, but Shady and Kale come out at the perfect time, find themselves each a frag still. ADRF and Will finding frags on the rotation around as well. Now Danimal going to be working his way to the GR spawn here as well. Still the bomb yet to be planted. It's in the hands of Ally here. He's going to actually pick up some no kills, actually. It's going to be Lucas again. I thought he was going to pick up 1 there, but no. It's just another situation where Black Dragons making the continuous mistake now of funneling into that GR spawn and running into 2 or 3 players from Boss.
Well, once again, it's Boss with the late round committing into a site. All of them together just moving in with the flashbangs. I almost feel like at this point, Black Dragons might be better going for something sneakily aggressive, try and catch out one of these players early on, as so far their strategy of let Boss execute on us hasn't worked too well. Maybe they'll be able to change things up here, find themselves an early pick, and already you can see that Will's getting a little bit more aggressive, trying to spot out someone there, sneaking forward around the A alleys. And their setup on B is a little bit more aggro as well with Knots in there, so bit of a change up. Black Dragons hoping to find a kill, maybe two, before it actually comes to that final commitment from Boss, but with how scared and slow Boss have been playing, they're not really giving it to them, so far they've been doing well on their attacking side.
Right now we do see Black Dragons in a pretty safe position here, but again, Boss has been winning the late round here so often with the way they just aren't afraid to take aim duel after aim duel here. So we'll see if they can keep it up, but it looks like we're going to see a rotation coming in towards the B bomb site. We've got 3 players here now on the side of Boss, ready to take control of the B tunnels now. Flashbangs come out. There's not going to be anyone directly contesting this control play, but again, we see Boss playing incredibly reserved here, not trying to give up any sort of pick information to the enemy team. But right now, a little bit of an engage here over towards the B bomb set. They definitely want to be careful here. Knotson, he's just going to be right around the corner here from Kale, but he's actually going to notice that on the pre-fire there from Knotson, and he's going to be able to back off and call for either support from his team or potential fall-off play here. But with 40 seconds, Boss, they're going to be running down this clock pretty severely. It looks like they're going to have to force their way into B here. Not a whole lot of time to rotate and retake this execution over towards the bomb site, but here comes the play. Danimal, perfect drop-down flash. It's going to hit Kale right in the face, and now it's going to delay things even more, but Danimal finds himself a big triple kill on the back of site, and surely it should be over at this point. Danimal still alive with 53 HP as well. Kale finds the opening here to take down Knotson, but it's already a 4v2, and things are not looking good for Boss this time around.
Black Dragons are playing this one very sensibly as well. They get the first 3 kills, Kara Danimal, and then instead of overcommitting, they fall back, reposition to go for a retake into this bomb site as for play around with getting nervous. Will's being wrapped on a little bit, but actually Ollie's going to find 2 kills to make this more doable. Will trades it back, and now Kale can't do anything against Will. We'll grab that kill, and that'll be a nice, easy defuse for ADRF. So Black Dragons, they answer back, care of a huge round from Danimal. Even so, it was nearly brought undone.
Definitely a big one from Danimal. Will, though, coming in as well to help secure that one with 2 kills there towards the close of the round. Now it's just a 1-round separation here. Black Dragons looking to tie it up here and now. Boss, though, they're definitely going to have to be careful now if they decide to approach that B-bomb site once again. The question of Danimal going to be in the back of their minds from here on out. But again, we see the reserved play at the start. Boss still very reserved on their executions here. They're going to be playing, again, just 2 mid, 2A, just waiting for potential mistake to be made. I'd almost like to see Black Dragons maybe go for some sort of an A-long push here to catch these early round setups off guard. Black Dragons, though, they've been playing very reserved here. They know that they can put a lot of pressure onto Boss by doing so, but they definitely need to start trying to abuse at least some of this map control that's constantly given up to them.
I think the specter of what happened to all gamers is still lurking over Black Dragons here. They want to push and get caught out. There's a player or 2, but they're starting to get a little bit more confident now, and sure that as these rounds go on, they will get more confident with doing exactly what Will just did. Stroll on through, find a pick, get out. That's the sort of thing that they need before Boss just execute on them very freely. Indeed, now they are all grouping up into that B warehouse, and here comes a grenade streaming on out. They will get out as well. Danimal drops down and stays alive, but all 4 players now for Boss are on this site, trying to get their way up, and the kills do come in, 2 for 2. Will can't find anything, though. That brings it back into a 2-on-2. Bomb not yet planted. Players not on the site just yet. They're working on it, but yet Viana's going to come in. All up to Lucas now. 1 versus 2. The double peek is in, and he will go down. Excellent round from Black Dragons to tie it up.
They're definitely starting to pick up the pace here. Boss starting to work themselves into a bit of a tough situation now. Black Dragons, they're just starting to read the setup quite well. They know that they can safely afford to take some of these more aggressive peaks once the round progresses. They've caught on to the way Boss likes to start up in this sort of default setup and then slowly rotates to where they want to be. So if Black Dragons can continue to start abusing this more effectively, they're going to be in a great position. And I think making the decision to switch Vienna and Will and have Will mid has definitely paid off for Black Dragons. Since he's been there, they've won 2 straight rounds.
Once again, Boss with a slow start. This default for them so far has not really lost them anything too early. But also with how noisy it is, in particular with spots like that where they're throwing utility and they're spamming, they're telling Black Dragons exactly where they are and aren't. And I feel like it's only a matter of time before we have more plays like this. Will did this last round, just going straight through these doors and finding himself a pick, and he's looking to do it again here. Just ready for it this time. The spam's there, doesn't quite find that angle, but he's looking for it. In the meantime, though, it's a group over towards B in the B warehouse once again. Danimal is again here. This is the exact round that we've seen Boss play out pretty much the last 2 rounds in a row. Will's won his fight in mid, and now comes the push into that B-bomb site where Danimal and Notson are waiting. Danimal just taking his time, letting it come. The flashbangs go up. Danimal's up as well, looking for these players to come his way. The utility is good, though. Lucas finds 2 running in, 3 running in. Excellent work from him to crack open this B-bomb site. Finally, the answer comes from Vienna. Shady spamming through as well, but it's 2 versus 3, despite Lucas being incredibly low. Once again, he's top fragging, sitting at 9 and 2. Such a dangerous player for this Boss lineup, but can't get any more than that. The trade is there, though. ADRF 1 versus 2.
Now it's going to be all on him, and he's not even in a great position to retake this at all. He's still in mid, trying to figure out which way he wants to go on this one. 20 seconds to get in, grab these kills and the defuse. Not a likely situation, but now much more likely as he does take you down to a quick 1v1 with a fast kill there onto Shady. He just needs to be careful here. He has no clue where this remaining player is, and he's just going to stick the defuse. This could be a brilliant play on the table. He's going to get the ninja defuse, and he's going to hold it. Oh my goodness. And that is a huge play for Black Dragons. The ninja defuse and the 1v2 going his way there. And that's going to leave Boss a bit shaken.
Don't fake. Excellent work there from him and Lucas. 9 and 3. He's doing his best. He got 3 kills opening up the B-bomb site there, but still not quite enough to get over Black Dragons. Doing very, very well indeed now. And we'll see how this plays out, but it's pretty much the same. Or the last few rounds have been pretty much the exact same strat from Boss. They take mid control. Once they've got that, they go over towards the B warehouse, get ready for the execute. In the meantime, Ritter's been losing the fight in mid. Will just swings straight through and cleans him up, and then the retakes have been working for Black Dragons. So we'll see if they change things up. But again, it's multiple players towards B and looking over at mid. So looks like it might be the same setup again.
Now we are going to see them working slightly faster towards this B, but I'm not sure why they are so keen on executing onto B between Danimal and Will. They've just been able to slide in round after round. But however, Lucas, he did open it with a 3K last time they executed in. He knows exactly where everybody's playing on the site. We'll see if they can make it happen again. Rida and Shady already finding kills here. It's a 5-on-3. They have full control of this bomb site. Rida finds another pushing out of mid, and it's going to be a 2-on-5 now. ADRF and Vienna left in a very tough situation.
And nothing that can be done. Rida is on a tear this round. Looking to shut down everyone. ADRF's going in for the clutch again. He's found 2, but it's a 1-on-5. Now down to a 1v3, but 22 seconds left on this bomb. Not much time to work with for ADRF. Surely, no way he can clutch this. Again, Shady gives him the peek. The double peek actually comes out from Kale, and they will get that one across. But the difference maker that round was that Ritter won the fight in mid on Will. In the previous few rounds, it's been Will swinging out and ending him. But this time, Ritter got the win. Pulled one of those B-side players off into mid. That's where we saw Notzin rotating in from when he got taken down and left Animal alone on that bomb side. So the pick in mid proving very influential. We'll have to see if they give it up again.
And now here we have it, Boss in position to potentially take the half away from Black Dragons here, who have been playing pretty solid. But honestly, if Black Dragons don't win this half, it's still not the greatest showing for them. Port generally a map where the global risk side is a bit more dominant. So if Boss wins this half, they're in a great position to potentially close this one out in their favor if they can have a solid defense. But as we've seen, Boss, definitely a team that has some struggles on their global risk side. We'll see if they can bring it back, though. But right now, it's going to be all about what they want to do here in this final round on their blacklist side. Again, playing very reserved, but they have to be careful. This positioning on B is very forward aggressive here. You see the double peek coming out here from Danimal and Knotson. They're not afraid to hold on to this angle, just playing one upper and one lower barn. They're going to be in a very solid position to shut down this B execution that has predictably come through for the 4th round in a row, and they're ready for it. Danimal finds one and the bomb. They try to hold on and get a little bit more damage dealt, but both of these players actually have to back out. They're very low here. Both Knotson and Danimal under half HP after that engage.
Still though, they get the frag and get away with it. And again, Boss is so keen on going into this B bomb side. At least Lucas will grab the trade onto Will, brings it back into a 4v4, but they're so keen on going B all the time. Now it looks like it might be a bit of a reposition, going to grab some mid control, perhaps finally over towards A, but the C4 still moving around in that B area. And Vienna playing with fire. 2 players on the other side of this wall. Pre-fires in, gets one, but will be traded immediately. And that will give the mid control up straight away to Boss. Make some noise through towards the B bomb side, but they're falling back. Finally a rotation for them that isn't towards B. I'd like to see this. Going to be going over to A long here, and I don't think that play has rotated just yet, but still, a lot of work for ADRF to do here, and he did just get spotted.
He's going to take some damage here as he works his way back onto the top of A. He's still going to try and hold it from this position, but Kale catches him off guard. And it's going to be a very rough 2v3 now. Danimal and Knotson both incredibly low, and we've seen on these post plants A, Black Dragons, they have this tendency to funnel in towards the global risk spawn, and with this low of HP, I just don't see these positions working out in their favor. Knotson going to be sort of stuck here trying to flank as Danimal works his way up from the bridge. They both find frags, though. It's a 2-on-1 now. It's Kale all alone on the GR spawn wall, and it's going to be Danimal who goes down. Knotson looking for a glimpse of hope to make this happen. Slight HP disadvantage, but it's fairly close enough to where he can make this happen. Kale, though, plays the positioning right, and he'll come out on top. And just like that, Boss, they're going to steal away this half 5-4.
Very back and forth it was, too, and surprised the Boss managed to come out of that one with 5 rounds, given that their strategy barely changed apart from the mid-round call in the final round there. But regardless, they made it work. Doesn't matter how one-dimensional it was, and they do come away with the win. But we've seen already in their one match today that their defensive side, their global risk side, was not particularly convincing. They went 2-7 on the defensive side, so hopefully they'll be able to have a better showing here. They do have a slim 1-round lead. They had a 3-round lead in their early opponent, but still, we will see exactly how this one will turn out here in just a second, as we'll swap sides and get into the second half here of Black Dragons versus Boss.
I think right now the biggest noticeable change that could have some good implications for the second half for Boss was Rida definitely stepped it up compared to what we saw on our first map here, and he was honestly their weakest defender. He only had 1 frag in their defensive half against all gamers, so if he can carry the play we saw in the first half here over into the defensive half, I think they're already going to be in a much more comfortable position, and they're in the lead 5-4. As we've seen, though, leads for Boss don't mean much on their global risk half if they cannot close it out confidently. So starting it off, Black Dragons throws the pressure immediately onto this A bomb site, nading to death. Ollie there, and it's going to be a 4-on-5 already. Black Dragons in a great position here on the post plant. The bomb goes down, and Boss, they're already playing with their backs against the wall to start off this half.
And that's a great change up from Black Dragons. They know that Boss took a minute, really, to do anything on their attacking side. And so Black Dragons say, all right, you're going to do that. We're going to change the pace entirely. They've already got it down into a 3 versus 2 as a couple of frags do start to come in, but it's all for nothing in the end. ADRF and Knotson clean it up. 3 players stay alive, and that's a brutally quick round from Black Dragons. That's under a minute from starting this game, bomb being down, and all of the enemy being eliminated. That might be the fastest round we've seen today.
Definitely so, and Black Dragons, that's exactly what they want to do here. They don't want Boss to have any opportunities like they did in the first half to control the pace of this game. But Black Dragons, they're going to be caught off guard here. Boss doing something different now. They're going to be aggressive themselves on the global risk side, and they take the control play A long. They get Ally in position here, and they're going to back off. And I definitely like this decision from Boss, changing things up just as Black Dragons did to them, and they're not afraid to play aggressive here in this position, but I'm surprised he actually decided to fall off there. He had control of A long, they established it, but they give it up anyways just to play more reserved as they comfortably like to do. So definitely an interesting decision from Boss there. They go for the A long control play just to give it up again. But Black Dragons, they're just in the meantime here, taking their nice control plays into B tunnels, and now they have a pretty good idea of where these players are going to be playing, but it looks like even though they know B is fairly cleared out, they still want to take it towards A regardless and take this fight head on.
It's a good choice. Well, a good choice from Black Dragons to not immediately commit, because you'll notice there that as 4 players from Boss pushed down A long, as soon as all 4 were spotted, 2 of them immediately fell back and rotated onto B. The idea of that setup being that surely, if it's a 5v5, you see 4 players somewhere, there's 1 the other way. They wanted to go catch him out, but either way, a lot of pressure now on to Lucas here. Ali flashed out in the corner. They're running by him. He hasn't checked. Will turn for the 1 kill and the 2nd just as well, because the trades have come in onto his teammates, but Ali still lurking around and alive, and Ritter's going to come in, clean up the last 2 kills. And yeah, it was a bit of an odd decision, but I'm guessing the idea was, as I started saying there, is that if you as a T, if you, or I'm going to keep doing that, as a Blacklist player, if you spot 4 of the enemies, you're most likely going to just run into the other side, where they're not. And instead, they're going to do it again this round. Boss trying once again to catch him out, but surely, if they do this any more than 1 more round, then, goodness me, flurry of frags. Black Dragons will be able to establish it as something they do every round and then just rush B. It's really not worked out here. Eventually, Ali will come in and get that one down into a 2 versus 2. But the defending players spread far and wide across the map.
And now Black Dragons, they're going to work their way back towards A. I like this decision. They know in this 2v2 that they've already lit up the player towards A, so that's where they want to take this. Now it's just going to be up to Kale on his response here on this rotation in, but that is a big dink coming out onto ADRF, down to 1 HP from that shot. Unfortunately, not able to connect, though, and ADRF, even with low HP, he's been a very valuable player for this Black Dragons lineup, so unfortunate for Boss, they weren't able to take him out of the picture just yet in this round, but
this is such a good read. They know that this flank push would have come in and they're waiting for it. Can't quite find it though. That makes things very difficult for ADRF, but the read was correct for Knudsen. He's watching the right line, just couldn't land the shot. Even though he's on 1 HP, this is doable for ADRF. Both of his opponents are low, and he has found potentially the timing onto Ali, but can't quite find it. The grenade might just. Does indeed get that kill across the line, so now we can go for this one, but instead, we'll choose to fall back. 50 seconds. He's still got a lot of time to go to either bomb site. We'll be going back to grab that C4 as well. Once again, it's Kale holding over at A long, and that will give ADRF all the time he needs to go over to B and get that bomb down where he can try and play the post plant. It's pretty much an affair of 1 bullet either way here for both of these players, and Kale is going to do the exact same push. He's already done once this round. This time, though, calling that it is the B play and going to go straight in for the flank.
Definitely a good read from Kale here. And ADRF, he's almost moving a little bit too slowly here, so Kale's going to be in a great position to go for the flank here. And ADRF, he doesn't have enough time to rotate all the way through to A, so he's forced to plant it here. And Kale's in such a great position to shut it down, gets it right after the plant. And just like that, it is going to be Boss winning it in the 1v1. ADRF, you can see the disappointment there, but with 1 HP, just not likely to win a 1v2 clutch.
No, especially not when he took as long as he did. Of course, you can understand why he did. He was just trying to make sure that Kale hadn't rotated on him, and it's tough to know what we know, and we can see the map and the overlay and all those sorts of things, but still, unfortunately, the timing doesn't go his way. Now a bit of a change up for Black Dragons in that they've got this AWM out onto Vienna, looking for a pick in mid, but none will be presented to him just yet. Just going to spam the box a couple times, make sure that no one's hiding behind there. And in the meantime, Boss have 3 players taking control of the B warehouse.
Definitely liking this continued change of pace from Boss, and it has started to pay off quite nicely for them, finally resulting in some powerful rounds to go their way. But Vienna gets the opening pick here. He's going to take down Lucas on the top of A. Great way to get things started for Black Dragons here as they look to get their 2nd round of the half on the board. They have the 5-on-4 as well to work with, but now Boss, we'll see if they get a little bit too antsy here, but so far they're not going to over-position themselves towards A just yet. They've got 2 players here in mid, and they do have Kale starting to push out for info as well, and this is going to be a smart play from Boss. They send 2 players to scout out mid together, and they could be in a great position to go for a fast flank. But they're actually going to work their way into B tunnels, though. They're not going for the full flank, so Black Dragons, they have a completely open A bomb site now, and this is where things have gone wrong. Boss made the gamble of stacking everyone towards the B tunnels, but now they have to go into full retake mode, as it is going to be a complete 4v5 from this B bomb site that they're going to have to work all the way back to A now.
35 seconds on that bomb timer, ticking it down. 5 versus 4 is a lot of time for Black Dragons to work with here. Just have to try and delay this boss retake as it will be coming. Vienna holding down that A long flank. Everyone else on the bomb site ready to fight as this push does come in. All 4 boss players coming in pretty much together. The spam through the smoke, too good in the end. Wow, double kills going both ways. But in the end, it's Rita left alone, and will take him down. A very near thing, but Black Dragons, they get lucky, they avoid the stack. Or, well, I mean, I'm not going to say it was luck, could have been a read. But either way, they avoid that stack from Boss, get the bomb down, and holding off that retake in the end is all too easy. Now just 1 round behind for the Brazilian side.
Definitely an interesting decision that we see teams continuously try to force their entire lineup out that global risk wall to retake A. It's consistently not worked for either one of these teams now. So hopefully we'll see some sort of change or adapting to make that a little bit less likely to go against you. But now Black Dragons, they're going for the sneaky drop down play. They're going to send multiple players here out for the close A peek from A connector. They're going to find almost a shot there onto Ally there, but it's going to be Danimal who opens it up with one onto Lucas, and so far Black Dragons have full control of this A bomb site. Danimal finds himself a second, and it's going to be Rita and Shady looking for a potential retake here, but it's not looking likely. Notson finds himself a kill on Rita. It's Shady left in a 1v5. It looks like he may just go down here, potentially to Danimal, who just spotted him on the jump spot here from Fence.
There's only 1 frag remaining, and ADRF will be the one to clean it up. That's a great, very, very fast push coming out from Black Dragons. There was 3 players on that A bomb site waiting for them to do just that from Boss, yet still they couldn't stop it. Black Dragons come rolling in. And will take out that round very convincingly, not dropping a single player. Animal already out through mid behind the smokes, getting over towards that A long position, ready to drop down. Actually got multiple players out here, so looks like it'll be that A play once again with the lurk over towards B in the form of Vienna. See if this time it's going to work. It was pretty flawless for them last time, but the boss's setup has changed. The boss setup has changed somewhat, so see if they can figure it out now as they're ready to go.
You can see a little bit of pre-nading coming through from Boss as well. They definitely have a bit of a hunch this could be the same execution once again, and they're not wrong here. 4 players ready to attack, but Black Dragons, they strike it right at the opportune moment here to work their way in. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade as Danimal goes down, but the rotation's already there. Ally finds 2. It's going to be Kale with another. It's already a 2-on-4. ADRF and Vienna, though, looking for some sort of redemption in this round, but they're already in a very tight spot here. Vienna very late on the push to support ADRF here, and now they're going to be stuck trying to fight their way out of a difficult situation here. ADRF just trying to get some sort of peek to go his way from the back of ladder here, but again, the patience of Boss paying off in these key moments. If he were to peek here, he would risk giving this kill up to ADRF or Vienna, but now he's just going to be playing the safe angle, and he waits for his teammates to come in for support. Perfectly timed from Shady. He comes around, and then he decides to peek, and that's exactly how you do it. You play the patience game, wait for your rotation, and then you make the aggressive play together. I like that decision from Boston. Now they're going to be back on top 8-7.
Very few rounds left now in this game. Very near thing indeed. All of our games today have been close so far, which is always nice to see for the first day of a round robin.
Yeah, definitely. I think our furthest spread so far has only been the 10-6 we saw where Carbon fell earlier today against Pacific. And
other than that, 10-8, 10-8, and then 13-11.
Yeah, so all 2-round spreads so far aside from that Carbon game earlier. So we'll see if it continues to be that way, which it very well might be here. 8-7, definitely a potential end in a 2-point spread here, but could still be 10-7 if Boss are able to close this one out perfectly. But Black Dragons, they're going to put him through the ringer here. It's going to be Lucas, though, who finds the opening here, gets the double kill. That's going to be a huge way to empty this clip as he gets another kill. Oh, my goodness. I thought he was going to stop there, but no, he just picks up another gun, keeps going. Ally finds one, but Vienna, he's still alive here, 1v4. Not going to happen, though. He gets one, he goes down, and just like that, the chance to close is now actually on the table for Boss. 9-7, they're on match point.
This time their defense has been much more solid than we saw it being earlier. Looking a lot better than Port than they did on Black Widow. Admittedly, that map does have a bit of a blacklist bias, but see how it does go this time. Looks to be initially a bit of pressure towards the B site from Black Dragons early on, but they know now that they're against the clock. Got to try and grab themselves this round and the next one to make it to overtime, or else Otherwise, it's going to be Boss coming away with their first win. And everyone goes 1-1 pretty much.
Yeah, crazy to think that Black Dragons, they take down Q9, but unfortunately it wasn't enough to get them in a position to where they could also take down Boss here, but they still have time to make this happen. It is a potential for them to take it into OT. They need 2 straight rounds to make that happen, and I like the change in momentum here in playing the slow play towards B. They know that B is fairly unguarded. They generally have 3 close responders to A, so they know there's not going to be more than 2 people prepared for this B bomb site execution, and that's going to throw all the pressure onto Shady and Rita on the actually like sort of late play coming in with just nades out here, but they're actually going to rotate early. Kale's already here for the support as well, but ADRF, he finds the entry onto Shady. Now it's going to be all about how they decide to clear this positioning. Danimal has to check his pit, otherwise he's going to run into trouble. Finds the first. There's still a player down below, but Vienna, he sneaks out of mid. He gets behind them, finds the kill, but he can't get it right away, but still eventually secures that frag. And Boss, they let it slip here, and now the potential for overtime is definitely on the horizon here.
Here comes that music. Heard it a few times today already. Maybe I'm actually lying to you and it's not. Normally there's music for the 18th round. Anyway, that aside, one more round needed for Black Dragons to tie this one up and take us to OT, and that's a very aggressive peek from Shady. Unfortunately, can't get anything out of it. Ali does find one early and the second as well. Looking for some more, but in the meantime, it's brought into a 3 versus 3. Boss need to close this one out to grab this game here, or else we are going into overtime. Our second of the day. Either way, this could be our third 10-8 game of the day. Let's see exactly which way this does go down, as the remnants of Black Dragons will group up, heading over towards that B-bomb site. So they choose to attack this one. For Boss, 2 players getting aggressive down A, long 1 locking down B. It's Ali on his own. They've actually got a lot of info here, Boss. It's risky what they're doing, but they do have a good handle on where Black Dragon are and aren't. They're actually going to keep pushing behind here. This flank's either going to ruin them or work really well.
Right now, Black Dragons, they just have to move quickly enough to keep things checked. If they make the decision to go A, though, having control of A top is very, very crucial on this map, and Boss has given it up, so Black Dragons, they're going to try and abuse that here. If they can get the bomb down on A before the rotation comes through, it's going to be a chance for them to win, but just as I say that, Boss is already caught on to this execution. Still, though, the bomb will get planted here by Will. It's going to be ADRF and Will looking for a 2v3, overtime or bust. This is such a big opportunity for them to potentially stay 2-0 if they could win it back in overtime, but it's now on the singular play here of ADRF from this angle, and Will just going to be playing support from a much safer position. So ADRF, he's just going to push through. He sees there's no one in the smoke. Goes for the wide peek. Ritta's already taken him down, though. It's a 1v3. Will going to be stuck in a tight spot. Ritta gets the double kill, and just like that, Boss, they're safely able to close this one out. Still 10-8, very, very close game. But in the end, they're able to close it out, and it's going to bring us to now 4 teams that are 1-1. 2 teams, potentially that could be there soon as well.
Very possibly. We do have one more game here in our second stage of games, which will be all gamers up against Carbon, which we'll talk about over the next couple of minutes. But yes, we now have 4 teams at 1 win, 1 loss. It's now only all gamers that can make it to 2-0, and if they do, they'll give themselves a substantial lead in everyone else, at least for the remainder of this stage.
Yeah, and all gamers, they're really in a situation where they actually really need that 2-0 start as well, because after they play Carbon, their schedule gets very, very difficult. So all gamers, the only team left that can potentially remain undefeated in our group stage. And it's crazy to think we're at this point only 6 matches into it here. Actually 5. We haven't even got our 6th played yet, and we already have 5 teams that have gotten a loss.
Which is pretty ridiculous. We thought it was going to be everyone would get 1 win, and seems like we are right, but also everyone getting handed losses. The only exception being this game coming up where it could be Carbon missing out on the win, and all gamers not really missing out on a loss, but avoiding a loss in this case.
Yeah, definitely, and now all gamers, this is, like you said, a great opportunity for them. If they can get the 2-0, they're going to be ahead of the curve now. They're going to be 1 win ahead of every single team here, and that gives them a pretty good shot of at least making it into that bracket stage, maybe potentially being the team to beat here now as well, because Q9, we've seen they've had a lot of mistakes here. Even though they are 1-1, they still haven't had a game where they've really been overwhelmingly dominant so far, but to be fair, I guess the same could be said about everyone now at this point, with every team having a loss besides All Gamers, who still only walked away with a 10-8 in their first map.
And they only haven't had a loss because they haven't played their second game yet. It's not like they're already undefeated. We're talking about the fact that they might be able to stay undefeated, but they're not there yet. They've got to win this next game, which up against Carbon should be doable, but how doable is the question.
Yeah, and when you look at the scores reflected in the past here, we have both All Gamers and Boss, who have had some pretty comfortable matches so far, but honestly, All Gamers, if they can do that well against Boss, who already have come out with a big win today, I think it's going to be a pretty good opportunity for All Gamers to really just show us what they're made of against Carbon, who hasn't had a whole lot of luck today. I mean, they've only put up 6 rounds. That's the lowest result we've seen so far, and with the team that's already 1-0, I think Carbon's going to have to play fundamentally different if they want to take away this win. But guys, we're going to throw it to a quick break, and we will be back with our last of the round 2 games here today. It's going to be Carbon taking on All Gamers after the break.